Hi guys, and welcome to another how-to video. And in this video I'm going to show you how to Bhujapidasana. And Bhujapidasana, with its complex name, it's a pose, it's a yoga posture, it's an arm balance from Ashtanga yoga. So in the primary series of Ashtanga, we kind of go through the standing sequence, we go through the sun salutations, we go through the standing sequence, the seated sequence, and then after Navasana after boat pose, we have Bhujapidasana first. So really Bhujapidasana is the first arm balance that we do in Ashtanga, and then it comes crow pose. And usually people say, a lot of teachers as well as my teachers as well, say once you get the crow pose, then you'll kind of set up yourself for the rest of the arm balances from Ashtanga yoga and other yoga styles. But a lot of the arm balances in yoga come from Ashtanga anyway. So we're gonna look at crow pose. Now I've done how to crow video before, but I think just some tips on lifting up will help you to get there. And then the main tip I have for you is make sure you're breathing. The other main tip I have for you is drishti point, and drishti point in yoga is your focal point where you're looking, and where you're looking is actually really important. And then your Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. So Mula Bandha, the pelvic floor bandha. We have physical locks in the body where we lock them, when we use them, when we practice and engage them, we lock that energy in the body. So the body feels lighter, we can lift up more, we can keep that energy in, we can move through, it gives us more strength, more grounding, etc, etc. So Mula Bandha, kind of the perineum area, we lift that up, we squeeze that. And then your Uddiyana Bandha, your navel lock. So as you exhale, you draw the belly in. As you inhale, you soften, you're still engaging, but as you exhale, you draw the belly in. Yeah? So it's a very kind of tricky to get both, but it kind of takes some time, but once you do get them, automatically your body knows, okay, this is my Uddiyana Bandha navel lock, and this is my Mula Bandha perineum pelvic floor lock. So very important for arm balances, any kind of inversions as well, headstands, forearm stands, balancing postures as well, seated postures for grounding. The bandhas are really key in yoga. All right, so let's start. Have some fun. This is the main thing, to have fun in yoga. So for your crow pose, now yes, we can go from Malasana always. You can kind of reach your arms forward. Make sure your feet are parallel here, so we don't want to open the feet out too much, like not too much turn out here. Then we lift the hips up a little bit. Then hands are in front of you. The main thing is, now if you have your chaturanga in your practice, is the same kind of thing. Slight grip in the fingertips here, slight grip in the fingertips. And then we go with elbows bent, squeezing the elbows in, knees rest into your upper arm. So at the beginning is the key, the aim is to bend your elbows more. Look forward, this is your drishti point, is to look forward, and then maybe one foot might come up and the other foot might come up eventually. And we have crow pose. Yeah, so crow pose, because I should explain maybe crow pose in a different video. But the crow pose really sets us up. However, Bhujapidasana is the first pose that we practice in Ashtanga yoga. So Bhujapidasana is quite something. There's a lot of weight on the wrist, so you have to kind of find the flexibility in the hamstrings and the hip joints first. So that's why we move a lot in Ashtanga. At the beginning, we have a lot of the standing postures to open the hips and the hamstrings, and then to also kind of engage the core. And then the seated postures, same thing, to open the hips and the hamstrings, the lengthen the body, the upper body, make some space here, and then we're able to go for arm balances. All right, so Bhujapidasana, I'm just gonna show you first. So usually we jump from downward facing dog straight into it. Now you can step your hands back, and this is the main thing. So the back of my thighs are resting on my upper arms. And again, this is the main thing, is the bend at elbows. We walk the feet in. We want to kind of hook one foot on top of the other. And then you can keep your toes down at the beginning. You want to squeeze the thighs into your upper arms, lift up a little bit, use your bandhas, and then eventually the feet lift off the mat here. Yeah, so lifting off the mat. This is it. Okay, so it will be a lot on your wrists, so make sure to kind of stretch your wrists out. You want to breathe and not talk through it. Yeah, it's just a bit of a fun pose. Now, it's easy if you have 2 blocks. So 2 blocks, I love doing this phrase with the blocks, just it gives me more height. I can go down from it. There's a little transition where you bring the forehead or the nose down to the floor from Bhujapidasana, and then back up, and then we go with straight legs into Titibasana from there. However, I think just getting Bhujapidasana to start with, it's a great start, and it's a great kind of pose to play with as well, because you know you can go from Bhujapidasana into crawl pose, squeeze in, jump back, do your vinyasa, chaturanga, and then you know just to kind of have some variations there. So let's do it again. So again, the main thing is we come up. Now you want to wrap your hands around your thighs. So hands behind your knees, and then we lower the hands behind your heels. Yeah, so I'm just gonna face this side here. Okay, so we lower the hands behind the heels. The hands can be a little bit closer together. And then the trick is to lower the wrist down, squeeze the elbows in, bend your elbows. So again, my thighs are resting on my elbows here, my upper arms. Walk your feet in, and then hook your feet in. And then squeeze, slowly lifting up, maybe lifting the feet off the mat. Breathe, and then slowly coming down, very gently. Circle your hands, have a little stretch, then deep breath. It's quite fun, yeah? So now if you have tight hips and tight hamstrings, again, it's good to warm up before any arm balances, also to warm up your shoulders, to warm up your wrists, to warm up your core. Again, the core is really key as well. Now we do engage it with the Bandha, but we also want to lift up. And now a good kind of mental trick is in any arm balances, same thing with headstand, but mainly I say with arm balances that your weight is on your hands, but your head is up. Yeah, so crawl, well, in one line, let's say. So crawl, any of the Kundalini-asanas, flying pigeon, flying crow, all of these like Ekapada, Bakasana, Ekapada, whatever. There's so many arm balances in yoga, but when you think about, in any arm balance, when you think about lifting up, away from the floor, so lifting up, you're aiming for something higher. So usually in my mind, I'm aiming for a handstand. Yeah, I can't handstand yet. It's a long work in progress, but like handstands are kind of something that I'm not obsessed with, but in my mind, I'm just tricking my mind always in arm balances. I'm kind of aiming to go higher, to go a little bit deeper, and then it just happens naturally. Yeah, and also you want to have fun with it. You don't want to go, oh, I can't get it now, and like getting irritated. That will stop you as well. So make sure you're breathing, make sure you're engaging, make sure you're lifting up to ceiling, away from the floor, and make sure you trust your arms and your hands in arm balances. All right, so same thing here we're gonna do with the blocks. All right, so we want to put the blocks behind the heels, hands come down at the blocks, and then we slowly walk the feet in, and then we slowly hook the toes in here. Deep breath. deep breath, lifting up, lifting up. You can also go straight hands, but I think elbows bent to start with is easier. Yeah, and then we come down. So blocks do great job in kind of elongating our arms, making our arms a little bit longer, and then we're able to kind of go a little bit easy on the wrists as well. So when you have some blocks or something, it doesn't have to be blocks again. A lot of people don't have blocks, so maybe just do a couple of books. If you have thicker books, so just 2 books stacked, make sure they're not moving, and then you can do that. So we bring the floor up towards us a little bit, and then we still lift up. We actually go higher from the floor, but it's just really fun to play with some height, and blocks your best friend in yoga. And then, yeah, so again, a crow, then Bhujapidasana, you can play with it. Again, my tips are to kind of squeeze in, round the spine a little bit. Also, same in the crow, we round the spine a little bit. Don't worry if you don't get it to start with, just play with it a little bit. Eventually, it happens. When you kind of start to build your practice and you kind of practice on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, like a few times a week, then you kind of start to open your body more. Yeah, so when we go slow, when we go with awareness and attention and intention, and also with a little bit more kind of mindful moving, you want to move in a mindful way. You don't want to injure yourself, you don't want to injure your wrist, you don't want to injure your knees or your hips or your back. You know, with yoga, you want to go slow, you want to breathe, you want to have the patience, and then eventually things come together, especially for arm balances. We build the strength, and then we're just afraid of going into arm balances, and then eventually when we just try it for fun, just why not? And then you kind of realize, oh, I've actually been able to do this for ages, but I've just not kind of been going there mentally. You know, it's like we're the only ones who can stop ourselves from fully practicing or going for it or trying. So again, just trying out things, see what works for you, and try more, practice more, don't give up. I think the practice is the main thing that you want to do, in terms of the more you practice, the more results you see. And then take a break from a pose as well. I find that when I stop practicing handstands, with a handstand, then I come back to them a week later and I can stay for about 10 seconds, which is a lot for me, yeah. And because I'm quite backbendy, I think that's why I'm finding it like it's kind of really hard time for me to draw my ribs in. But in arm balances, because we have the round, it's really easy for me to go there. So we just kind of get to know our own bodies throughout the practice, and then eventually we go into the arm balances. But again, just give it a go with the blocks, without the blocks. If you don't have any blocks, just have something similar of a similar height, and then you can try. You can, again, the main thing is to walk your hands back behind your heels, behind your feet, and then slowly bend the elbows. You want to sit on your upper arms, so thighs, hamstrings, thighs on the upper arms. And then we slowly lift up from there, and just take it easy. But any questions, let me know. Any other tips from other people, if you see this, please put them in the comments below. I think it's quite nice to kind of help people out. I know that every teacher's cues are different, verbal cues. So for some teachers it's kind of easier, and for some teachers it's kind of like, oh, I need to explain this a bit more. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Let me know in the comments, and then hope you enjoy. Hope you find it quite nice to practice arm balances. They're really empowering and really kind of build the strength and the balance as well. And yeah, we build that strength in the upper body, and I think, ladies, it's possible. Just do it. And it's, it gives you so much freedom. You have no idea. So yeah, enjoy, and namaste.